away by it. It was uplifting. It was epic. It was heartwarming. It was inspiring.
It made Spielberg look like a philosopher.
Look what we can achieve if we just put in the hard work.
Stay close to your family, get over your differences, all very bland and dull. It's, ugh.
Now my last comment
Thank God.
on this movie, Nathaniel, I believe that only straight people will enjoy this movie. There's nothing in this for the gay audience.
Well, this is an interesting viewpoint. This might get my interest.
Nothing at all homoerotic
about another
about a movie of men bare-chested, clutching at each other's sweaty, muscular bodies. This is a film for straights. That's why I liked it.
Probably why I didn't.
What do you give it, Nathaniel?
2 out of 10.
Well, you know what? It's the first time it's happened, Nathaniel. This is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Oh, that's just ridiculous.
It was brilliant. Okay, folks, this is the part of the show where we delve back into the movie archives, and this week we're going back to the year 2000 with American Psycho. The plot. Meet Patrick Bateman. He works on Wall Street. He's got a position in mergers and acquisitions and appears to be filthy rich. He wears all the best clothes, eats at all the top restaurants, is stinking rich and super fit by means of a punishing exercise regime. He's got everything going for him, apparently, yet somehow he still feels empty, still has an itch that keeps gnawing away at him, desperate to be scratched. And this itch manifests in bouts of unqualified, absolute moments of unbelievable violence. For a while now, as we join him, he's managed to keep his rage under control, only murdering those whom he knows he can without raising suspicions. But that inner hunger is intensifying, and before too long, he's totally out of control. What do we make of it, Nathaniel?
Proper movie, Richard. This is more like it.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds kind of contradictory to start the way I'm going to start, to talk about a movie such as this on such a shallow level, but you've done it, so I might as well match it. Christian Bale. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was getting into the storyline, Richard, but all I was really thinking, I was thinking how much I'd like to rim him.
How much you like to what?
Rim him.
You've lost me.
Well, delicately.
You've lost me, Nathaniel. You have to explain that one, please.
I don't want to offend you. The very thought of 2 men holding hands seems to make you want to be violently sick. So if I describe rimming to you, I don't know what reaction it would have.
Rimming?
Yes, let's just say it's an intimate act.
Okay.
I'll leave it there. But Christian Bale is a divine-looking man. He's. I know I was enthusing about Daniel Craig a few weeks ago. But
you were.
Top-notch. He is just the ultimate. Wonderfully looking man. And a fantastic actor to boot.
Well, I mean, it is true that within the first 5 minutes of the movie, we do have a sickening scene of Bale in the shower, his buttocks on show. And I did think, as I was watching it, I did think that's one for Nathaniel, and it seems I was right.
You're absolutely right. Yes, I was totally fixed on those buttocks, Richard, let me tell you.
Turned my stomach.
I'm sure it did. Didn't turn mine. It turned something else.
Anything else? Besides
there is something else.
Vileness.
Hasten to add. I want to talk about the makeup, Richard, if I can.
Of course you can.
Some of the scenes in the film were just absolute. Now, I've never talked about makeup in the film before, so I've never really noticed it. But it was so good, it was so well done, I feel the need to make reference to it. Some of the scenes where he's looking particularly tense and stressed out, the makeup was absolutely incredible. And couple that with Bale's acting ability, just served as an absolute extravaganza of aesthetics and acting. It was a wonderful spectacle. Sorry?
Go on, sorry, Nathaniel, sorry.
Oh, beg your pardon. Did you want to cut in there?
Well, I was going to say, to be honest, I didn't notice that, so I'm glad that you've pointed it out. Maybe I should check that out.
Well, you're not as observant as me, so that's nothing.
maybe that's true. Maybe we'll see.
The fantastic message in the movie, Richard. Obviously highlighting the vacuous nature of social climbers and materialism. And although I'm not into violence, I could fully understand how the position that the Patrick Bateman character got himself into was driving him nuts. Yeah, awesome movie. I enjoyed the humour in it. There were some real humorous moments, I think you'll agree.
It was black humour though, wasn't it?
It was black humour.
Very black, very dark humour, but there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I found myself laughing out loud on occasion, which is quite unusual for a movie of this nature.
And were you watching it by yourself?
I was.
So that's doubly unusual, isn't it? To laugh out loud when you're by yourself.
Yes, sir, fair comments, yes, absolutely. But that just how humorous I did find it.
We tend to laugh more when there are people around.
I guess you're right. It's like some kind of body language, isn't it? Some kind of signal.
It's a social cue, isn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But this film was so funny at points. Obviously, I was laughing on my own, as well as doing other things on my own, I have to say. So all in all, I don't want to expend too much of your time. I know how much you like your sound of your own voice, so hit us with it.
Well, I thought that Bateman's character had a fantastic taste in music, I must say, which is venerated and genuinely celebrated throughout. From Whitney Houston to Huey Lewis and the News, the 80s were pretty much covered. He also loves Genesis, but only from 1980 onwards, which is sensible, as that's when they became good. It made total sense to me.
Well, certainly none of that thrash rubbish, was it?
What did you think, Nathaniel, of the scene where Bateman is admiring his physical form as he is, how can I say it, as he's penetrating a prostitute?
Well, that was just one of those laugh out loud moments. Obviously incredibly dark.
Yeah.
A man so obsessed with self-image.
Yeah.
But it was just absolutely hilarious.
I found it very confusing, I'll be honest with you.
Why?
I didn't know what to think. I didn't know whether it was being serious, whether it was meant to be repellent, revolting in some way. I found that a very confusing moment.
Right.
Because we've got it's the juxtaposition, isn't it? You know, he's banging away, and at the same time he's not really particularly interested in her. It's almost like he's shagging himself, isn't it?
It is very much that. It's complete narcissism, isn't it? He's trying to fall in love with his own self-image and his own ego. And
I found that a bit disturbing.
That's why it's dark. It's dark humour.
Well, it's obviously meant to be, isn't it? It's meant to be.
It's meant to be like that, yeah.
Now, though this isn't really a horror movie, there are clear nods to horror conventions.
Yes.
Most explicitly, when the prostitute Christie, you know, is moving around the flat and starts to find the bodies one after the other.
Yeah.
And then she attempts to flee, with Bateman coming after her, wielding a chainsaw, hot on her heels.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that could have come straight out of a John Carpenter movie or a Tobe Hooper movie.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. Clearly playing to a different audience and yet using the same conventions. Pretty clever, really.
Right, yeah, interesting take.
I'll agree with you as well. Christian Bale, what an actor. What an actor.
Method actor, yeah.
He's remarkable. He transforms himself for each role that he takes. You know, he becomes a different person physically.
The Machinist is the best.
Have you seen that one?
Of course, yes.
You surprised me.
I think it can gather.
You surprised me.
We're doing some research for once.
Research, you got it. I was shocked by that, to be honest. Well, because in that he's like he's a stick, isn't he? He's got no muscle on him.
He emaciates himself, yeah.
Exactly. He's remarkable. There's a great scene in this, Nathaniel, where the businessmen are admiring their business cars.
Probably my favourite scene in the film.
And I've got to say, it's good to see people taking such pride in their professionalism.
It wasn't a serious comment, you know, Richard.
What do you mean?
That was just another one of those dark humour moments. Maybe that passed by.
I could see no humour in that at all. It seemed perfectly sensible what they were doing.
Well, you often find yourself in that kind of scenario, do you, where you're admiring your friends' business cards?
Well, not anymore, Nathaniel, because this is the year 2011. This, we're going back to the 80s, file of faxes.
But you're the one that belongs to the past.
And so maybe that's why I took such delight in it. It was a welcome blast from the past.
So you enjoyed it?
What, the movie or just that scene?
Oh.
Well, I'm not going to reveal my score just yet.
Okay.
Nathaniel. Now, there's one scene where, even though Bateman took it a little bit too far, he was quite correct to admonish the homeless man for his negative attitude.
To go to the lengths of shooting him?
He stabbed him, didn't he, Nathaniel? Have you actually seen this film?
Oh, yes, sorry, I beg your pardon.
Stabbed him in the alley. Yes, this is American Psycho we're talking about.
I apologise, listeners. Mr. Shittlebob is correct on this occasion.
Yeah. So, like I say, I mean, slightly over the top, the reaction, but the reasoning was sound.
You think so?
I thought so, yes, I thought so. Bad time people told these people that get off their arses and go and do something.
Well, you didn't tell him that, he just took a knife in him, didn't he?
Oh, well, you're picking hairs there, aren't you, Nathaniel, to be honest with you.
Perhaps it's me.
It was good to see 80s technology authentically represented, I thought. It was really refreshing. The Walkmans, the mobile phones, the stereo systems. We all used to have these things. We'd forgotten. We'd forgotten how massive they were.
Yes, that's very true.
And they went out of their way. Strong message in this movie, Nathaniel, with biblical overtones, if you think about it.
Biblical, really?
Lead a good life, or suffer the consequences.
That really is an interesting take, yeah. I don't know where the biblical aspect comes in, but isn't that
Jesus told us, live a good and humble life. And Bateman was, wandering around punishing those that weren't observing the rules.
Well, you haven't got any preaching in for the last few weeks, so we'll allow you a little bit.
What was your score, Nathaniel?
9 out of 10. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed it as well, despite the revolting shower scene. 7 out of 10. Okay, listeners, this is the part of the show where we turn to all things topical, where we pluck a story from the headlines from the past 7 days. And this week, we're looking at the first